Warning: the following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 238 of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast. Coach Miller is not here tonight, so we'll rip some jokes on him here in a little bit. Jim is not here tonight, in which we'll wait for Jarvis to rip some jokes on Jim here in a little bit.
And Jarvis is late per usual.
Jarvis is late. He'll be here in a minute. He had a football coaches meeting. We'll cut him some slack on that one. But since Chris is out, I'm the only that can run the board, so
yeah,
I have the power tonight.
Yep.
I don't care. I don't care what Jason says. I don't care what Jim says. I don't care what Chris says. We'll start the show when we want to start it.
Yep.
And by we, I mean me.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll end the show when I want to end it. It's going to be like, pardon the interruption. I'm just going to start throwing people off at this point. So, but we're glad everybody's here to watch us tonight. Back again. It feels good. I took a couple of weeks off to be back on here. Yep. But we got some topics we're going to talk about tonight. A big one we're going to talk about is the NCAA ruling, but we're going to save that one for later. But we're going to talk about everybody's favorite topic on this show, hashtag 91 wins.
Question mark?
Well, they are on pace for 88 wins right now.
Okay, now I'm not good at math. I've always been the first one to admit that. Is 88 wins better or higher than 91?
We got time, man. We got
time.
But hey, all of you guys are picking like 70s.
Right.
I think one of you picked something in the 60s. But even if it's 88 wins, I'm the one closest to it.
What is this? Price is Right?
Hey,
$1. $1.
Well, I went over, though. You just can't go over. So,
Yep.
But I'm sticking to 91 wins. They're going to get on a hot streak, maybe make a trade at the deadline. Make themselves a little bit better, get McVey in the rotation a little bit more often.
Well, and he came up Sunday because they had the doubleheader. Now they talked about going to a 6-man rotation. And I guess that would probably mean that he comes up and plays. I just don't know what that does going to a 6-man rotation, what that's going to do to the bullpen that's already struggling. Go ahead.
They're not going to go. They had mentioned that at this point they're not going to go because they've got some days off coming up. Mm-hmm. But I think early July, I think before the All-Star break, I think that there is an opportunity where they don't have any days off, so they may go 6-man there. Mm-hmm. But they're kind of there's some roster flaws here with the bench and some other things going on at this point, and the fact that you're carrying basically 4 catchers, with one of them being a DH and one of them being a full-time first baseman.
Yeah,
I will say though, Contreras has done a really good job at first base. I think he's transitioned well to playing that position. But you've essentially got 4 catchers,
right.
So there's some roster issues that. And if your main right-handed bat off the bench is Velati or whatever his name is, you've got some problems there that I think have to be resurrected. Mm-hmm. But with the roster issues, they're still playing outside of this 3-game sweep with the Blue Jays. They're still playing pretty good baseball. They were in 2 of those games. So
yeah, I was going to say they were competitive. They fought. You go back to Tony La Russa when he talks about playing the hard 9. But I mean, you look at the Central. Outside of Pittsburgh, everybody else has lost. We're on a 4-game losing streak. St. Louis Cardinals, their last 10 they're 3-7. They've dropped down to 5 games back in the Central behind the Cubs. And then you're also about 2.5 now out of the wild card. And so we're seeing in the macro, the team, but in the micro, you're looking at Newt has struggled the last 10 games. Again, we're looking at this 10-game blurb here. Newt, you got Helsley, who I thought it was only 2 in a row. It's actually 3 blown saves in a row for him. Now, Donovan's kind of banged up. You got Walker that still hasn't come back yet from injury. People are questioning, is Newt just tired, or is he is he trying to conceal something as well? They're competing. It's just, wash, rinse, repeat when it comes to pitching. It's just the pitching issues. And I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen, because I just don't see them making any moves or definitely anything impactful when we get closer to the deadline. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, I think I think roster depth is the main issue here, both pitching wise, bullpen. But you're seeing outfielders go down, and now Newt needs a day off, and you don't. Why at some point isn't Ciani the guy they bring up as that extra outfielder? I know they probably wanted a right-handed bat, but I would much rather see us give a Newt a day off with Ciani in left field. As opposed to Burleson in left or Donovan in left, and then I can't Velati, whatever his name is, in right. It's something. It's just, why are we doing? We know you have a proven major league commodity in Ciani, or is there anything else down there that maybe gives you a better bat off the bench on a regular basis?
And that's the issue. Yeah, I mean, that's the issue. You look at the one bright spot that I will say is that Gorman, while he's had limited at-bats the last few games, I mean, he's put a charge in some baseballs. He's doing everything he can. I think, again, with Walker being out, and you don't know if Newt's just tired or if there's some type of ailment there, if he's going to continue to get some playing time at second, or, if Arenado needs some time off, you put him over third, and then you can have Donovan be this utility guy. The Swiss Army knife for you, if you will. I think there are options. And then, like you said, Walker comes back. You're just hoping that he can come back and produce a little bit. I mean, he's done well, I would say, defensively. It's just, hey, let's try to get on board as best you can offensively. They're competing. We had said, I had said this last year, that I thought the offense was going to be able to carry the pitching year behind or year late. I just don't know what you're going to do. Hey, there he is. I just don't know what you're going to do with this pitching staff. So, Jason, we're talking about the Cardinals. What's your opinion? We said they're 3-7 out of their last 10. They're struggling on the struggle bus. What do you think, man? What are your comments?
Boy, the pitching really fell apart recently, and that's something that has been good. And then now we're getting some injuries. You got, your best hitter so far this year, and Donovan going out. Yeah, it's time for us to be scared now. 91 wins may not be possible there, Kevin. I don't know.
They are. I was saying earlier, I believe they are still on pace for 88, which is still closer than what any of you guys all guessed.
I will say that you are exactly right on that, Kevin. And, I mean, there's just some things going on, not just with the rotation, but, hey, guess what? Marmol threw Leahy's arm off. He lost it. The arm is gone. He's not been pitching well. I mean, there's only 2 guys that have pitched worth of crap lately, and that is Gray and the other starter.
Eddie?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the relief. Helsley, awful. I mean, it's been bad.
And I'll say this, just because we're here and we're living it, it's not like we're in the dog days yet. I mean, we haven't had heat. It's almost middle June. We haven't had a heat wave come through yet.
We barely had a couple of 90-degree days. We haven't even gotten to the 95 to 100-degree heat index days.
No,
it won't quit raining.
more on the way.
Yeah.
And that brings up some. I heard on the radio they were talking about before in one of the pre games about how they've already had 5 doubleheaders and that's why they're tired. Well, what are they doing on the days when it gets postponed? Are they out partying or what? Staying up late?
Come on
now.
That tired crap drives me insane. As many scheduled days off and non-scheduled days off, and I tweaked my hammy is a little sore. I can't. I had a back spasm. Shut up! You're making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Play baseball. Now I get it. I sit Donovan too of that toe thing the other night, even though he would have been due up 4th. As you can see, we gave up more runs anyway. It didn't really matter. So, yeah, I just being tired, though. I hate that excuse. As a professional athlete, the worst excuse ever.
And here's the thing. It's not football. It's not basketball. It's not wrestling, not the WWF kind. There's a lot of standing. Now, pitchers, okay. Catchers, definitely. But everybody else, you're standing. You're standing.
But catchers don't catch both games of a doubleheader in a day. Right. They don't do that.
Right.
They're carrying 4 catchers right now. Catchers should never get tired.
No.
Contreras is still not playing catcher, right?
No. So. And I was just saying before you came on, he has done a pretty admirable job of shifting over to first base.
Dude, he has made some plays that you wouldn't have thought he'd make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
he's played well.
So I'm not upset with that. I don't think they have. Pages is a good backup catcher, but to rely on him to catch every day because Herrera is just not an everyday catcher and just not very good. It's difficult. They probably need to go find a catcher somewhere they can rely on there if Herrera is going to be the DH. But another layer to this onion. I heard it this morning and I just looked it up. The Major League Baseball players voted, and the manager, aside from your own, you would not want to play for. 40 players.
I was listening.
I did not hear this.
40 players responded.
Hold on. Can you do like a top 5? Can you do like a top 5?
Yes, right there? I will.
On my way to work, I'm on my way home from work. And now I drive to the city a little bit for my summer gig, and they were talking about this. I found it so interesting, Kevin. I'm glad you're bringing this up.
So, and I'm not going to go because, tied for 5th, there's 3. It's Mark Kotze of the Oakland Athletics, or Sacramento, Oakland, west half of the United States Athletics. Dave Roberts of the Dodgers.
Really?
And Derek Shelton, who doesn't even have a job right now.
Did you hear what's his name, the guy that played for Pittsburgh's comment about the Dave Roberts thing? What's his name? The guy that's on the ESPN. It's making me mad.
DeRosa?
No. The guy on ESPN, like our St. Louis ESPN. He's an African-American guy that played for the Steelers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kerry Davis?
Kerry.
Yeah, Kerry. I knew it was Kerry, but I couldn't think of his last name.
Yeah.
So Kerry Davis, he said, well, the player that put Dave Roberts just doesn't want to freaking win World Series, I guess. I mean, what else can you say? And then they cut off. But I mean, I was surprised. Now, that was who they least wanted to play for or wanted to play for.
This was the least. This is but there was only 40 players that responded to this. So
out of 100.
Anonymous?
Whatever. But so Gabe Kapler had 3 who doesn't have a job either. And from his past, I'm not sure anybody would want to play because he's just all over the damn place. And then it was Ron Washington and Mike Schilt were tied for 2nd.
Really?
Yes.
Don't want to play for.
Yes. And then tied for 1st is Bud Black, who is he still the manager of the Rockies? Or was
he
he
just
fired?
got fired.
Yeah. So Bud Black and Oliver Marmol.
Yep.
With 5 each. Yes.
Ah.
So they had to pick who they would least want to. And then they read what some of the players wrote.
I was going to say, do you have that, Kevin? I'm curious.
Yes, I have it in front of me.
One of the players wrote something about who's the Cardinals manager or something.
Read
somebody
it. Put, I don't really know many managers. I'm just trying to think of someone in our division. So just so I can say someone, who's the Cardinals guy? Yeah, just put him down.
Yep. That's what the player put.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious to me.
I'm just wondering what anybody else has said about Marmol about the why. If
I'd have to go a little deeper into the athletic here when I get this, but they didn't have any there. But like Ron Washington, who's a pretty good manager, was because I just want to be able to use my cell phone.
You know what this sounds like? Hey, you know what this sounds like? Student surveys.
Yes.
That's exactly what that sounds like. Student surveys.
Because they're so good. They tell you how great a teacher you are.
Oh, yeah, every time.
So, and then the opposite question, which manager aside from your own would you most like to play for? 121 recipients.
There you go.
Any guesses as to who the manager that people would most like to play for?
Probably
they talked about this morning. I didn't know if you heard this.
Counsel for the Cubs?
He's fourth.
I heard it, so I can't say.
You heard it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, go ahead. Go ahead then.
Bruce Bochy.
Yeah.
And then it was Terry Francona.
Okay.
Who we could have had.
All guys, all people that the Cardinals wanted to take a run at. And then third was Stephen Vogt. Who I think is only in like his second year managing, I think. He just retired like a couple of years ago. And then it was Craig Counsell, Brian Snitker, and then Dave Roberts was tied for fifth in being both the least favorite and the favorite.
Oh my gosh.
Mike Schilt was also on the list. Ron Washington was on the list. So
that just sounds like education right there. That sounds like kids. Can't make them happy. Can't make everybody happy.
Just give everybody a 3.
Oh my gosh.
But hey, when I get observed for teaching, baby, give me straight 3s average. I'm good.
So
I don't know about that. Not in today's system. Not in today's system.
So I'll add to this.
6s.
Well, I want 5, 6s, and 7s, yes, but dude, I mean, they can't. Yeah, you know what I meant.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll ask your guys' opinion on this. With the changeover in GMs next year, the official changeover to Bloom, do you think he has to make a managerial change next year if he really wants to put his thumbprint on this team?
He can't if they have a winning record. Because a winning record, let's say they get to their 88 wins. Okay, they're going to say, ownership is going to say, that's a win. We figured out who we were with the youth movement, and now we know who our core is, and now we can go ahead and GM can move forward and pick up some guys maybe in free agency, winter warm-up, whatever you want to call it. I think what has to happen is they have to bomb out. They obviously have to completely miss the playoffs, right? And I don't think 82 wins. I mean, you're going to have 88 plus to sniff it. But again, if ownership's happy, I don't know. I see your point, Kevin, but he's gonna say, wait a second, I'm making chicken salad out of chicken, you know what, with all this youth movement, and we're competitive, and it's baseball, and softball, just like baseball, anything can happen. So there is no football or basketball where the highly favored team is going to wind up winning just because they're bigger, faster, stronger. Baseball, anything can happen on any given day. So,
well, you know what? Also, maybe think of some of the people who were on that list, Kevin. Terry Francona, guys that the Cardinals could have had instead of Marmol.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Bochy. I mean,
but they're old. They're veterans. They've won. And they have their philosophy.
But that's what seems to be where players want to play.
But that's not what ownership and managerialship wanted. They wanted a yes man. They wanted a young guy. They wanted somebody that's going to go ahead and stick with the program. So I don't know. Okay, on the flip side of it, Kevin, you're exactly right. If Heim or whatever comes in, he says, "I don't want him. I want my guy," because maybe there's a different philosophy. So maybe he does. I mean, I could see it. If I could see it that way too.
I think the only way he's absolutely safe is if they make the playoffs. Even if they have a winning record and miss the playoffs, I still think Bloom is going to want to make his own impression on this.
I hope he does. I hope they miss the playoffs by one game. Bye-bye.
Well, I'm still hesitant to trust them to pick, and by them I also include the ownership group in this, to allow them to pick the right one to do it. Because I just maybe I'm just been I've got the whole Mosaic brain lock that they're just going to go get the one who's least likely to fight back, because the last one to fight back they fired on the spot after he had a good year.
Difference in opinion, not needing a new voice, just difference in opinions. That's
So they just need to find somebody with a deeper voice. That's all. Different voice.
I see your point to that. I don't know who you would want to go out and get unless I don't think you're gonna hire within. And if you are, I don't know, if you are a manager or if you're one of those guys that are unemployed, are you gonna take a job and be handcuffed and say, hey, you have to do it this way? Or you obviously know they're not going to spend to get big time free agents. So you walk in the door knowing you're probably not going to have a good pitching staff, and hey, here's your roster, make do. Is that something you want? Is that something you want to deal with?
I guess depending on who that is, and if it's you get a chance to be a manager and you can put it on a resume, but is that who we as a fan base want? Is somebody that's just looking to a resume builder?
Right.
The fan base wants Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, or Skip Schumacher.
Well, I'm going to say I would go with Skip. I would love to see those guys, and everybody talks about Pujols and Molina. I'm still not 100% certain that those guys would be good managers of a Major League Baseball team. It's sure you give Pujols, you put him in charge of the Dominican Republic team at the World Baseball Classic, and it's an all-star team. Sure, I could manage that team. Just stay out of the way, right? I just need to have good handwriting for the lineup card. That's the only thing that's needed right there. But so I wouldn't mind a Schumacher. He's got a proven track record of winning with lesser talent in Florida, and then Florida, he got Miami'd down there the following year, so and wasn't allowed to get out of it. So I think that's the only way, is if Schumacher agrees to do it moving forward.
There would have to be this conversation on philosophy with ownership and new GM and saying, okay, what do we want to accomplish with our play? And they're going to have to lay everything out on the line and say, look, this is the type of game we want to play, on offense, on defense, this is what we want to accomplish, and go from there. And Kevin, you have said this in the past. I don't know what they want. I don't know if anybody knows what they want other than, hey, make money and make as much money as possible and save as much money as possible.
My question, and I'll say this, pitching staff wise, we just don't know. Are they pitch to contact, or are they power pitchers now? Right. What's the organizational philosophy? Do you guys know what that is for the organization?
I don't think we have power pitchers. I don't.
Yeah, I think that at one point, I think last year they made the pivot to go to more power pitching. But the problem with that is it takes like 6 to 7 years to rebuild that type of thing, because you can't just up and change everybody that year. So I think that they've got to be able to transition and stick through it.
Yeah.
But I don't trust them to do that either, though.
Now, I've been thinking about this just because of the pitching problems. So I'm going to throw this out at you, and you guys can, if you don't like it, throw it right back. So obviously we're having pitching issues. And anybody can comment, tell me I'm an idiot. That's fine. And we're trying to save money. Yeah. And we're trying to save money. Okay. Why don't we, and Kevin, we can debate this. Well, what would you rather? Why don't we go all in with the offensive lineup? And that's where we put all of our money. Let's go get a 30, 35, $40 million free agents. Let's go get stud proven all-stars. And then on the pitching side, is it possible to simply say, we're going to go youth movement, and all you have to do every fifth day is get through 4 innings. That's it. And we don't, if you can go through 4 innings and give up 2 runs or less, maybe even 3, because we're going to go all in. It's kind of like the Bengals. Okay. It's kind of like the Bengals in the NFL. Let's go all in on O. And all we're going to say is we're going to go 4 inning guys. You can go 10 pitchers, 10 starters. You prove that you can pitch for us after you're, whether it's your free agent or let's say you're a young dude, your cost control's done, earn your way to a bigger contract. We're not going to re-sign you. Go someplace else to make your money someplace else. All we're asking is for 4 innings. Get 10 dudes that can do that. Maybe you go, if you have a little extra pocket change, get you a bigger closer, or if not, get you a few, just 2 or 3 fireballers that can close out the ninth. Is that, again, we're talking.
No, it's dumb.
Why is that dumb?
It's dumb.
Why?
Well,
It's not going to work.
I actually have been waiting for a team at some point to decide to do.
They're not going to do that.
Pitcher groupings. Hey, we've got group A, B, C, D, and E. You got 3 pitchers. You can go with 14, whatever, and you go 4 innings with the first one, and you go 2 or 3 with everyone after that. So you've got a couple, and then you just say, you guys have this game.
It's unpredictable, though. It's unpredictable. A guy goes out there and doesn't have it, and gives up 8 runs, and he's still giving it. You got to get him out.
So that's why we're saying
the offense and scoring 12
that's
runs.
Why you go all in. Think about it. If you're the LA Dodgers roster, you're their lineup on offense. Does that not? If I tell you, and Kevin, you're baseball, softball. If I tell you as a pitcher, you only have to go 4, and we have this stud lineup that is probably going to score 5, 6, 7 runs a game, do you not relax and say, I can go through and I can mow through these guys?
Can't even get a win.
Huh?
They can't even get a win.
Okay. Again, you're pitching for the future.
They're there to make money.
Not if they're cost controlled. That's what I'm saying. We go youth movement, and we're going to say this is what we're going to do.
It's not like you're doing this with Sonny Gray.
No. You're doing
this with guys who are cross-controlled, and they're going to get paid that no matter what.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying this is sustainable.
I don't think it'll work.
But in a situation like this year where the Cardinals only have so much, let's go all in on the offense and spend 75% of our budget on our offense, and then just penny pinch the crap out of the pitching staff. And go from there.
How hard is it?
It was funny you brought that up because Cincinnati did not sign their best linebacker and leading tackler. And then screwed him over and didn't release him until now. The dude's not going to be able to make crap.
Yeah.
Kerry Davis was just, well, we'll get to football later.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Again, if we're talking Moneyball, if we're talking philosophical changes, why not? Again, it's something completely different. If the Cardinals, they've talked about, I've listened to the Fast Lane, listened to 101, they talked about how when it was the MV3 and they started doing analytics and all that, they were ahead of everybody. They were ahead of the curve. Well, they got to do something different to get themselves back ahead of the curve. Maybe you do that. Or, okay, if you don't like that way, what if you flip it and you go Bob Gibson style and you say you go all in pitching because that's even, less roster spots, and say we're going to go give 30, 40, 50 million to pitchers, or if not more, whatever. And you get, I'm just throwing it out there, the best of the best pitching that you can, to say hey, we got your one run. Now go in it for us.
Yeah.
Would you prefer that? Would you prefer that, Jarvis?
I think it'd be easier to fill out it offensively if you're spending money than be less predictable,
right?
Pitching wise,
right? Yeah, that's I don't know. Yeah,
it's all about evolution. Let's evolve the game.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about ABS coming next year?
I like it. Hey, again, if we have the technology, do it. It shouldn't be an issue.
What'd you say?
The automatic strike zone, the robot umps.
ABS.
Yeah, robot umps. So I go back to it was either last night or game one of the Toronto series. That guy behind the plate, I stopped counting after like 7 missed calls. And we're not talking, just off of the black. We're talking obvious, nowhere near the zone. And for both sides, bad for both sides. I just don't see how it's 2025 and we can't fix that issue.
Well,
because again, go ahead. It's people's livelihood. You're talking money, Jarvis.
It's not full ABS. It's the challenge system. So you still got human umpires. Calling the balls and strikes on which a batter can, now they won't get tossed for doing that.
That was a bull crap. That was.
Well, I can understand why they wanted to put a kibosh on people doing that to an umpire in a bad call. I can understand because then you'd have guys doing this taunting umpires the whole time.
But he wasn't going like he like adjusted his helmet.
Yeah.
I mean,
I understand that. I'm just saying that's why they wanted to eliminate anybody tapping on their helmet.
Well, he was hot, wasn't he? Woo!
Right. So hey, before we go to break, I saw this stat. And I thought, because last year, I don't think Chicago was doing that great. I don't think they had that good of a year. And we were thinking like, oh, did Craig Counsell, did he mess up going from the Brewers to the Cubs? Well, obviously now they're in first place. They played, I think it was the 7th, maybe it's June 7th. Every single one of their starters were first-round picks. Every single one of those guys that played were first-round picks. I thought, well, they ought to be winning. They ought to be winning, and they ought to be winning a lot. So I thought that was an interesting stat.
Yep. So, well, we got anything else we want to talk about the Cardinals before we go to our first break?
No.
Same old.
Cardinals just make me mad.
So, hey, when we come back, we're going to talk a little NCAA and the evolution of the game and what this means for student athletes and for schools moving forward. So we'll be right back. You're watching episode 238 of the Coach's Box.
Dang, 238.
Yeah, we got to pay the bills. We'll be right back.
And I think it's been 38 episodes since Jim Powers has been on. But hey, who's counting?
You are.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
I'm the guy sitting next to your girl on the kiss cam.
And this game just got a lot more interesting.
Sheila? Mom?
Fire!
And if you don't have the right home coverage, you might have to kiss your savings goodbye. Let's go, beat it. So get Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Bro!
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
It's Between Takes with Daikin and Dave Mars.
Good. All right, next set up.
Hey, Dave, we got another question about energy savings. And this is a good one.
Yeah, efficiency is so important.
Didn't you just talk with Daikin about this?
They said energy efficiency is the key to a happy marriage. She gets the temperature, I get the savings.
Good to know. I'll tell them to check with their local Daikin dealer.
All right, back to one.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636 337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com. In the hobby of collecting, check out Elite Collectibles, open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They carry a wide variety of sports cards, trading cards, magic cards, Pokemon cards, and other non-sports cards. Need some supplies? They also have sleeves, top loaders, boxes, and much, much more. They have online auctions every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and also do bulk grading submissions to SGC and CGC. Check out Elite Collectibles at 1258 Main Street in Imperial, Missouri. You can also view their entire inventory at www.elitecollecting.com.
You need new entertainment. You need full-length content. You need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Health Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling, we've got so much content on there. Gaming, check it out. Live, not live, we've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
Welcome back.
Where are you?
You ticket. We're here.
Jughead's always
bring us in.
Is he there? Oh man, he's not there. All right.
Yeah.
He's busy. He's old. What can we say?
Yeah. Well,
sleep on the couch.
He'll come back stuffing his face at this point. So
right. So Kevin, what's next, man? There he is, stuffing his face. Stuffing his face. Hey, that's going to be a new segment. What's Jarvis's snack? What's he eating?
This is salami and pepper jack.
There you go. There you go.
So we're coming back for segment 2. We're going to talk a little bit about the NCAA and the massive settlement that has come through. I believe it's a $2.8 billion settlement.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That opens up the ability for schools to now pay their student athletes directly. What does this mean for colleges? What does this mean for student athletes? What does this mean about NIL deals and how that works? How does this change any of that? I'm not sure what you guys read up on it. I read a little bit about it, but
fill us in.
It's going to take the NIL money away from collectives and put it directly into the hands and the
schools,
capable hands of the schools and their finances.
So we start down this road saying we don't want the schools to get involved because we don't want pay to play. And after a year, 2, now it's like, well, that's not good enough. That's not working. Let's just go ahead and say, hey, you know what? Here, let's just give this to the schools. That's what that sounds like to me.
It sounds like, well, in the schools with the greatest boosters, giving them the greatest money, going to be able to.
All this is just, okay, maybe we just went back in time in history, and instead of it being illegal, now it's legal. And instead of having to hide it, here's this envelope full of $500 and 20s, like the program. And here it's, under the table. Now it's like, here's your envelope. Matter of fact, you don't even need an envelope. Here's your rubber band.
Neon Boudreaux's car is up in front now. It's no longer under the table.
Exactly. Right.
So
Maurice Claret. I mean,
the coaches now in these sense is, they The kids always want to talk about NIL deals and things like that with the coaches. And coaches, they were supposed to be hands off on that, but they're like, hey, we'll get the collective to give you this or whatever you need and stuff like that. So now it's
how could they be hands off? I mean,
I'm not saying
service.
That's called, I'm just saying that's what they were supposed to be.
That's called, because it's illegal, I can't be involved. Now, if they can, here's what you do. Hey, maybe it's not a bad idea. Maybe it's opening up jobs, because now instead you're going to also have the recruitment coordinator. Now you're going to have the NIL coordinator. And when they start, Drink goes to a house, he's going to say, hey, let's bring along our NIL coordinator. Let's talk about your options. Here you go. What do you want? What can we do? That's general manager is all it is.
But what's the next step in this situation? Because this is going to run rampant for a while. Are they going to look at salary caps?
Are you going to pay what positions are going to get paid the most? What, I mean,
but and then apparently there's now also like some part of, I don't know if it was part of this ruling, but another one where the NCAA was going to start checking the validity of NIL deals to make sure that it's truly in the spirit of name, image, and likeness, and not just handing some freshman lineman $500,000 because he's just going to the school.
Well, and I'm sure they're like Mizzou. They had their spring all access on several days here on the SEC network, gearing up for summertime and all that. And what was neat is that those NIL deals, or part of those NIL deals, at least in Como, and maybe Dylan can corroborate this, is that they have their Mizzou cookie bars, or they had candy bars and cookies and cereal and this, that, and it's kind of like they have their own Wii boxes, right? And so that's part of their NIL deal, is that, hey, here you go, we got the Mizzou Tiger brand food. That's how they get around, hey, you did your NIL.
They can put names on the back of the jerseys now, when it used to, hey, it's Chase Daniel's jersey. Well, that's technically not a Chase. It's just a Mizzou jersey with a number 10 on it.
Mm-hmm.
So they can start doing that now, and it counts towards a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I get that. I think in essence to say, hey, we're going to just put the bag on top of the table now instead of underneath the table. I think they've made this. Instead of slowing down the runaway train, they just cleared more path for it to get faster.
They just made it chugga faster.
Yeah.
And you know what? Again, if that's where we're at, Jarvis, does Dylan's in college? Is he working?
Well, he doesn't work during college, but he works all summer, and he's very, very frugal with his money, and he actually still had about $3,000 in his account when he came.
But he's working during his college years. He's making money.
Yeah, he's working at Home Depot.
If you are a Division I football player, you do not have time and opportunity to make any type of money. Now, we can go the flip side.
And even in many instances, you're not allowed to, because they always check that to make sure that, like, you couldn't go work at a Home Depot because one of the boosters might be, a GM or something like that, and a benefactor, and they didn't want any of that, so they wouldn't let you work in some instances.
So from that standpoint of, if all of the other college kids can work and go to school and make money, I'm all for that. Now we go back to the idea of the fact that they're getting free tuition, they get all the gear, they get room and board, all of the elite stuff that is far beyond whatever Dylan's going to have. Then, again, that's another side conversation to begin with. But at least now when they graduate, or if they move on, whatever, they not only have their degree, but they also have startup money that a Dylan or anybody else in college has that opportunity to make as well. So at least that makes things, if we want to call it fair.
How would Dylan be able to make money?
Because you just said he's working. He has that opportunity to work.
Yeah, he has to work and go to school and I mean, I don't. I don't know.
Part of the settlement here is starting on July 1st. The NCAA is going to pay nearly 2.8 billion, not million, billion in back damages over the next 10 years to any college athlete that's competed since 2016. So they'll pay that out.
Oh my gosh.
Moving forward, so anybody from here on out, each school can pay its athletes up to a certain limit. So the annual cap that they have for their athletes is about $20.5 million per school,
and
if they fully fund.
College is becoming just like every other industry.
Sure,
it's a minor league. It's not even amateur. It's a minor.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying it's becoming a.
Semi-pro,
I don't know. I don't know if I was coming out of school right now that I would go to college. I could probably go and start working somewhere, making $20-something an hour, depending on what it is, and then working my way up and not having to spend all. My son's going to owe money. My daughter's going to owe money. It ain't going to be like these athletes are going to have a. Not only are they going to owe crap, they're also going to have a big old purse.
Well, and these new payments are in addition to scholarships and other benefits they already receive.
Wow. So you're saying the school is only getting 20 mil?
No, the school are now, that's the 2.8 billion is for the student athletes from 2016 to 2024.
But what were you saying?
From now, the schools are allowed to pay their athletes as a whole in their athletic department $20.5 million per year cap
per athlete.
But that ranges from football all the way to like rowing, so they could pay them all a little bit. But that's if the schools decide to fully fund this program. There might be, Mizzou might say, hey, we're only going to do 15, and Ohio State does the full 20.5. It's the same thing with like scholarship slots. You don't have to fully fund all the scholarship slots, but the most you can give out is a certain amount.
Okay, well, I was going to say, if a school is only allowed 20 mil, Cooper Flagg made 28 mil by himself last year.
But this is also on top of any other benefit. So he made 28 million in NIL, which that doesn't go away.
But you're saying that's totally different.
That's totally different. That's another benefit. Then
wait. So now
they can make all of their athletes another like 5. They break it up.
So he can
get more, and then
he can make that 28 million plus.
Depending on what they pay other ones, they could pay him. Another million. But what that's going to turn into is it's not like you're going to say, hey, we're not going to evenly divide that amongst all of our student athletes. We're not going to give our star basketball player the same thing that we're going to give, the 40th kid on the baseball roster who's getting redshirted. That kid's going to get $5,000. Cooper Flagg's going ahead and getting $1 million of it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I knew that's also affecting scholarship. And the number of scholarships if they opt into that, because that was another.
They've changed that and decreased roster sizes. So, like, I know in baseball it used to be like 44, I believe, and now they're down to 35.
Yep.
So,
I think it's basically track. A lot of them. Softball
coaches are now having to tell kids, hey, some junior who's been there for 2 years, hey, we don't have a roster spot for you. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go somewhere else.
That sucks.
Yeah, that'll be a trickle down.
They're like, we can't even keep you as a walk-on because we don't have the roster spots to do it.
Yep.
So,
well, it's like we've said it all along. It's not collegiate athlete. It's not collegiate sports anymore.
It's not student athlete. It's athlete. They're barely students. They're in many of the sports they're taking all online
and
classes.
That's what I was trying to get at with. Yeah, Dylan can work, and Dylan's taking, anatomy, physiology, and taking hard courses because he's majoring in health sciences. And, I don't know, pick a basketball player at Mizzou.
Name one. I can't even think of one right now.
Well, they're probably playing that. They're taking some general studies bullshit and then getting paid all that money and don't have to work or nothing. They're not having to study like Dylan is.
Right. Hey, Duke, their college major for their basketball team when they were winning and all that, psychology. 3-year program. They got finished early. So that way when they were in their 4th year, senior year, they didn't have to do anything but play basketball. Oh yeah. There's
you still had to take a full course load of courses, but you're taking like
basket weaving,
tennis. You're probably taking basketball,
right? Golf, all that,
I'm not gonna lie, I took a couple of them courses.
Hey,
I had to get that GPA up.
Keep that scholarship.
So,
I lost the academic one after the second semester. It was all good.
So, where does this lead college athletics 10 years from now? What is, in your opinion, what does this look like 10 years from now?
I don't know.
What stinks for me, and we've already seen all of this, is like all of these kids leaving. And Jarvis, you tell me, because you've been to some Mizzou football games. Dylan's there. Is it the same? Is it the same as when we were his age, or even within the last couple decades?
It's been I mean, it's hard to say that because Mizzou's been winning.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel the same? Is it like that's our dude? That's our guy.
Mizzou's been lucky; they've had some dudes.
Mm-hmm.
They've had Mizzou has had some dudes, the Brady Cooks, the Luther Burdens, the Schraders.
Schrader was there 1 year or 2 years, basically.
But it felt like he was invested in the school, and you could feel
yes, and it has felt. I mean, I haven't went to any basketball game. Oh, did I? I can't remember, but I went to football games, and dude, I mean, the atmosphere was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The tailgating was freaking amazing outside, and there might have been more people outside you had sold out inside, and then you had enough people to fill, I don't know, some other spots that are probably just out tailgating.
Yeah.
And watching the game on TVs right outside the stadium.
Out by the Hearn Center, by the basketball stadium.
Or the old Hearn Center.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the atmosphere is still, dude, it's pretty legit. I don't know. I got to get on here and figure it out because Jill's going to Arkansas, right? And Mizzou plays at Arkansas this year in football.
Okay.
So Carolyn and Weston are going to try to go. So, that's why I'm working my butt off all summer. But anyway, we're going to try to go. Yeah. So, but then the atmosphere is, man, it's still there.
Is it? Okay. Again, it within the city, but there's part of that as a fan, at least that separates from the pros and the collegiate level.
Well, we're not, and you got to think as a Mizzou fan, it's probably a little different. Because it's not like some of these others where, I mean, Cooper Flagg's there 1 year. That's it. He's done. I mean, even Luther Burden, who was probably our most marquee player, gone, but he went 3. I mean, Brady Cook went all 4. I don't know. I think the atmosphere is still there, and America loves sports.
Yeah,
and football is one of the biggest, I think, if not the biggest.
Yeah, it's just when we say
I enjoy college football more than I do pro.
Oh yeah, well, and that's part of it is because those are our guys, right? It's not he's a sellout because he wants to be a free agent and he's sitting out and he's just money hungry, right? That's how it's billionaires versus millionaires. Like there's
I
part
look
of
at that differently though.
Okay.
I look at that differently on the whole holding out. Like, okay, you got Cincinnati, right? And what is it? Who's holding out right now? It's the one of the wide receivers, the one of the 3. Hawkinson or what's his name?
Hawkinson, the tight end.
Oh, it's the tight end that's holding out. Yes. I mean, last year you had Jamal Chase hold out, and you had the other guy hold out. I mean, they're trying to make money because they're one play away from being done.
Right.
And I know they are in college too, but I mean, once you get to the pros, it's like you're making that money. I don't know.
That's a different argument because we could go round and round, and we could table that once the NFL season starts. But do you think it's different? I mean, Kevin, my question is, does the pay to play at the collegiate level diminish what college sports?
Yes, it does, because people are trying to make generational wealth at the college level now. Right. That's not what it is.
So the settlement doesn't, in this sense, it has some other caveats to it that's allowed. So the settlement gives the schools the power to create new rules designed to limit the influence of boosters and collectives. So starting this summer, any endorsement deal between a booster and an athlete, an NIL deal, will be vetted to ensure it's for a valid business purpose rather than just a recruiting incentive. So the idea of, hey, I'm going to go there because they're giving me, $2.5 million is gone. I'm going there and hey, I've got a deal to go, do hawk chicken wings at somebody for someone for $2.5 million.
Yeah, ask Cantwell why he's going to Miami instead of someplace else. So that's because they're dropping $2 million plus for him. I mean, come on. So now,
he should be at Mizzou.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
What? Are we gonna what? Oh, look!
Yeah, you thought it was Jim Powers.
For a second,
I knew it wasn't Jim Powers.
Well, Chris said this in the chat just a little bit earlier.
Says a lot of stuff. But go ahead.
This will lead to the probability, I think, of college athletes unionizing, so that they can negotiate these limits and things that will prevent them from.
And it won't be collegiate athletes. It's not. No,
it's not right now anyway.
I know it's what I said already, but yes, you're right.
Did you? I wasn't watching.
But I said you're right.
Driving.
You were driving, but not looking at your phone because that would be wrong.
That would be wrong.
And he has never done that before.
Yeah, ever.
Hey,
okay, now listen, I'm going to say this. We're going on a timeout tirade real quick.
Oh,
Kevin, because you and I, we live in the metropolitan Festus area. And I say metropolitan because it's growing. Hey, people, I don't know if you're aware, but there's construction going on I-55. Can you guys slow down in all of the construction zones for the love of mud? Put your phones down. Slow down in the construction zone. Every day, whether we're going south towards St. John or you're going north, it is just absolutely awful. Set your alarm 10 minutes earlier and leave 10 minutes earlier. Slow down in these work zones.
Everybody get on board with what 70-year-old Zach McVey is saying right now.
Zach, why don't you just record a message and we'll just blast it out there like public service announcement from Zach McVey.
Right.
Just stream it every day.
PSA with Coach McVey. There you go.
Hey guys,
a McVey essay.
This is the best internet Chris has had in a while.
He had to go to Kansas City for it. It is crystal clear. It's not maybe or Annapolis. He had it down in
Annapolis.
And it's much like Jarvis, you can see all the food you eat throughout the entire show.
That's true. I'm not going to fall asleep though.
There he is.
Oh, man, he's getting big.
Okay, now that you're on, all right. So Kevin was saying, I'm going to throw an audible here, and you said, hey, some of these questions. All right. One has to go. One has to go. And then it's two-part. One has to go, and what's your favorite?
Ask me true, false. Let's go.
Okay. For Love of the Game, Field of Dreams, Tin Cup, Bull Durham, Draft Day. All Kevin Costner's. All Kevin Costner films.
Love of the Game.
Which one has to go?
For Love of the Game.
For the Love of the Game.
I agree.
What do you think, Jarvis? For Love of the Game.
For Love of the Game.
Which
I'm not a fan.
Which one's your favorite?
Bull Durham.
Same again.
You got For Love of the Game, Field of Dreams, Tin Cup, Bull Durham, Draft Day.
It's either Bull Durham or Field of Dreams is my
Field of
two
Dreams
favorites.
is my favorite.
Bull Durham for me.
I said, ooh, that's
I'm a big Bull Durham fan, but Field of
Tin
Dreams.
Cups, man. Tin Cup is up there too, man. Oh, you'd be playing the pink
Draft
lady
Day.
today.
Draft Day would have fallen off before Love of the Game if it wasn't for the pancake eating MFer line in the movie.
Really?
It's that ball in the bag.
Yeah.
So
Great movie. Tin Cup's good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was
Not a
one
lot of
that I-
debate there, Zach.
Well,
Good job on those questions.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is. I figured you guys would at least have a different opinion. Somebody would have
we're all in unison. You pick terrible questions, ask for debates.
Hey, you know what? Hey.
Hey.
Okay,
Hey,
fine.
did the
Here,
homework
fine.
better
Here you
than
go. Delete one. You got to delete one for the rest of your life.
Ex-wife.
Wow. Tacos, wings, bread, pasta, or burger.
Bread.
Tacos, wings, bread, pasta, burger. Which one's got to go?
Tacos.
You're gonna eat You're gonna eat bunless burgers.
No, mine.
How you gonna have your Uncrustable? Huh?
The man makes a valid point, Chris. Your Uncrustable would just be a big pile of Nutella.
I'm not eating bread right now, you goofball.
That's tacos. I don't know.
Down 10 pounds. Not eating bread.
There you go.
Yeah.
As I wolf down this pizza.
Jarvis, you do you, man.
I am.
You too. You eat whatever you want.
I say he can. He can.
Yeah,
he can.
You gotta bulk up for JV football in a few years.
It was the Varsity Blues. We're gonna hold him back so he's bigger for Frosh football.
Don't give me any ideas.
All right. Last question, Zach, and then I'm jumping off.
Go, I don't have one. Go ahead. What's your question?
I thought that was it. You only brought 2 questions?
Well,
Two.
I didn't plan on doing any of them. You hopped on here. So, okay, here you go.
You went to a private, you taught at a private school. You know everything comes in 3s. Come on, man.
Right, here's another one. Okay. Now, regardless whether you've been watching college baseball, okay?
No.
Come on, what time is upstairs?
So here's the question. Does any conference get more bids because of the bravado of the SEC more than the SEC? 13 teams made the NCAA baseball tournament. 7 got eliminated. 3 more, and this is a while back. 3 more, 1 loss away from being out. Same in basketball. They coast in because the top teams seem good. Meanwhile, strong teams from other conferences are left out. Is the SEC overrated? Do they get extra credit because we're the SEC and it just means more? What do you think? You only got 2 teams.
SEC fan, I'm going to say no, it's BS. But
they beat up on each other.
But when they get to when they get into the postseason play,
they lose. I mean, like I said, you only got 2 teams in the College World Series and Vanderbilt is the number 1 seed, number 1 in the nation. They got booted early. They didn't even make it out of the regional.
Well, I don't know about baseball, but I think in basketball the big problem is the SEC is refereed a way different than when they get the NCAA.
Smartest thing you've ever said.
And I said I do to her. I think that was smarter. But anyway,
okay, second smartest thing.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think that's a problem in basketball. They need to clean up the regular season, in my opinion, to help their own teams.
So you're saying they let stuff go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In games where referees play a direct role, they let too much go in a lot of those situations.
Kind of like the boys' basketball games at Herculaneum they used to be. Just let everything go.
You mean the kind where you bring a varsity team to play a JV game?
Yep.
Anything goes here at Thunderdome.
Absolutely.
I guess that new gym will bring a new voice and referees too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe
Vinny,
maybe Bruce has some relatives.
It'd be
that
the
can come
same
up.
6 guys that rotate through the Jefferson County games anyway.
Steve Montgomery, Hubbard, all those same guys will still be there. Those voices will still be there.
Hubbard's been done for years.
That's right.
Here's another one. Okay. For the next 5 years, 5-year plan, Chris. Who would you rather have as your quarterback? Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels for the next 5 years.
Daniels.
Down.
Allen.
Up or down. Up.
Jane Daniels, cause control.
Down.
Yeah, we're not staying down here. You gotta get in the back.
I have a window to win.
Youngest, I was picking the youngest one.
You should have just stopped after that.
Oh my gosh.
He did pick. He picked Jaden's was the last
He
one.
just went one too many. Then you could have had a debate, but no.
I don't know. You're thinking in terms of money. Think in terms of play.
I am.
Yeah.
It's Allen for me.
Allen's going to put his head down one of these times and he's going to break his collarbone.
Man.
Lamar might too.
Yep. That's why I eliminated both of them from my running.
Jaden Daniels weighs like what, $120?
I don't care.
Some Washington D.C. breeze will knock him over.
It's Joe Burrow. You're not going to go get on the Joe Burrow train?
No, because they don't have offensive line.
We're not talking about the team. We're talking about the player.
It doesn't matter.
I haven't seen enough out of Joe Burrow be healthy in order for me to do that.
He's only had 2 healthy years. Come on. That's because his offensive line sucks.
There's always something wrong with Joe Burrow.
True.
All right.
Guys, I'm going to jump off here.
I think we are too, Chris.
Well, you guys have fun. I'm going to finish eating here. So peace
No,
out.
we're not jumping off yet.
Oh,
okay. All right.
Chris
Unless
can.
Kevin says so.
Chris can. We're not because I want one little thing. We got to talk about Aaron Rodgers.
All right. See you guys.
All right. That's fine. So let's go.
Aaron Rodgers. Well, go ahead.
Let's go ahead and talk about Aaron Rodgers, and we'll just end it from there. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like ending everything. I mean, what is this? What is Pittsburgh? Mike Tomlin really wanted to bring this guy there?
He was one of the he was like a top 8 to 11 quarterback last year. Why would you not? Hold on. 2 years ago,
top 8 to 11, but the Jets were horrible.
Exactly. That's exactly. He had great stats on a terrible team. Now you move him to a better team. He's got better weapons. All he needs to be is a manager, which he can do that. 2 years ago, guys, we were singing his praises how he was on Hard Knocks. Jarvis was like, I'm all in. I'm all in. He's great.
I
Totally
said
Hard Knocks changed my perspective.
I wasn't saying I was all in. I respected him a lot more after Hard Knocks.
Okay. And what did he do last year on the field? That
not on the field. It's all the other BS with him. It took him this long to decide if he even wanted to play. I mean, and then they got Helmet Gate. The guy's too old to wear the new helmet.
Grandfathered in, you know.
It's like me. I was the oldest on the staff today at the meeting. Gosh, damn, old dog.
Again, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers, who is a top 10 or better than top 10 quarterback, or the guy that gets hit in the head by Myles Garrett with the helmet thrown, Rudolph or whatever his name? You don't even know who the guy is.
Rudolph.
Is that who is that really a choice?
Well,
you know what I mean.
Well, when you put it that way, but
Did you see anything that Myles Garrett said he was going to put him in the graveyard?
Graveyard, yeah. It is
And
Halloween.
he was.
Yeah.
And if everybody knows, he does put every person he sacks on Halloween is a grave marker at his house.
Yeah, for
That
Halloween.
is hilarious. And I only knew that because Michelle Smalls this morning on the way to work was talking about it. I'm glad I once in a while get to catch her because over the summer I've been able to catch her. She's good.
I just don't know that
too.
I just don't know that Pittsburgh's going to be any good. I don't have any faith that he makes them that much better.
Oh man, they've never Tomlin's never had a losing season, so you're at least on paper starting at 500, and all you got to do is win a couple games.
I don't think it makes them any better than being a wild card team.
That's getting in the playoffs, and like you guys all say, all you got to do is get in the playoffs. I mean,
I think if I remember correctly, doesn't Pittsburgh have one of the toughest schedules next year?
Cleveland does. They've got the toughest. So their first 6 is super tough. I don't know about.
We'll see. It's interesting. We'll see how many quarterbacks are down in Cleveland by that time, so that Shador ends up starting.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, nobody ever talks about Dylan Gabriel in all this, and it's just, man, 3rd round pick. It's probably the guy they wanted, or at least close to what they wanted. He's just completely overlooked. You can't keep 4 guys on the roster. You would have to think that one of the 2 rookies is probably going to get cut, because you've got Flacco that's going to probably get you through the first 6 games, and then after that you're going to make a move, maybe even first 3. Then you make a move to go to Pickett, and then after that, because they're going to, if they don't start 0-6, that give that guy a raise, because I mean it's brutal. I mean it is absolutely.
The way that they're talking though, is Shador has been great.
We'll see.
Actually, the Giants apparently, based on last year's winning percentage, have the highest or have the hardest schedule next year.
Really?
Yes, at a 574 winning percentage by their opponents from this past year. The Browns are like 12th or 13th. Their first 6 may be hard, but it might tail off after that.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And then Shador will be in there lighting it up.
Now I get the fact that you've got to play your conference games, but if you had the worst record last year, not only do you get the number 1 pick, shouldn't you get the easiest schedule, or at least
Chicago Bears have the 2nd toughest schedule.
Well, that's because they're in a pretty darn good division too. I mean,
and then it's the Lions and Eagles after that, so it's kind of a crapshoot based on who your division is, which is why the 49ers have the easiest schedule with a 415 opponents winning percentage next year.
Yeah.
Because just face it, the Seahawks, and they're just awful.
Yep. Right. Rams.
Yep.
All right.
Well, you guys got anything else you want to add for the greater good?
Another week of the coach's box and another week of no Jim Powers. And it's funny, silence on the airways on our phone. We didn't even get the I'm in Wichita. I'm in.
I'll be on. Wait, can't get on now. Yeah.
I'm in. I got this event. I'm running the scoreboard at this soccer game. We got nothing. And I hope he sees it. I hope he sees me talking the smack. Because big time be big timing. Maybe he's still at the lake. That's the last excuse.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That would be a great place.
Kevin's over here recuperating and stuff, and look at him. He's here like a champ.
Well,
that was work today, by the way.
It was.
Why are you working?
I was only there for a couple hours today.
Why are you even at work?
It's the best time to get technology stuff done.
All I hear Okay, Jarvis.
Nerd.
Who works during the summer? Who has to work during the summer?
Well, I do.
Admin.
I'm not admin. I'm middle management at best.
Admin. Kevin's admin.
He's admin. Yeah.
No, I just I can work because I can. That's all I'm going to say.
Admin and coaches. That's who works. That's who
works. Like that great 90s band Snap. I've got the power this week.
There you go. There you go.
So I want to say thank you to all the viewers tonight for tuning in. Episode 238. We're getting really close to 250 episodes.
We got to do something stellar. We got to go back to La Pachanga sometime, man.
I don't know when that's 12 weeks out. I don't know. That puts us in the school year, doesn't it?
Ish.
Who cares?
Well, I'm sure we'll have to take a week off here or there between now and then.
So we'll get it figured out. But 250.
Yeah.
We won't take as many weeks as
1,000 episodes. So, Jay, if we go at this route, we're about 5 years, right, since we started the show, correct?
COVID.
That is insane. So we're still not making any money off of this.
In fact, we lost money.
I guess I'm still out. I don't know about you, but I'm still out.
But at this point, 15 more years of this, and we can get to 1,000 episodes.
15 more years.
15 more years. Golly, I'll be old.
Hey, that'll be episode 1,000. Weston's graduation party.
Weston, it'll be 18.
No. 15 more years, we're going to get to the point where it's Weston's. It's like, well, I can't be on the show. Weston's got a JV game tonight.
I thought you were going to say I can't be on the show because I got to change my Depends. And Weston's got a game tonight.
All right, that was uncalled for.
I know.
So tune back in next week, and we'll have a show at some point next week. Chris might be here. Who knows? He may decide he wants to drive to Wichita for something. Who knows? We'll figure that out later. But guys, it was good seeing you guys again. I'll be back more often. So.
Don't even apologize. Jim hadn't been here for years.
So, well, we're going to say good night to you all. Make sure you can go back, rewatch the show if you're just catching us late on all the Facebook, YouTube, X. I believe also on Twitch now. And we say Twitch now. We've been on Twitch for like a year now, I think. So,
Twitch.
I don't even know what Twitch is or where to find it. So, but we'll see you guys next week for episode 239 of The Coach's Box.
That's right.
Peace out, everybody.
This episode of the Coach's Box, Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.